Hello, I'm Jordan, and this is The Hidden Cup. Today I'm going to be talking to you briefly about the idea of living magically. And what I mean by this is just a mode of interacting with the world that acknowledges that there is more to life than just the physical, and more connections out there than simple surface level causality. We're looking at the energy at the heart of things. We're looking at the interconnectedness of all life and really all matter and energy. And we're also looking at things like synchronicity, the connections that exist on deeper levels than just the surface. So, speaking from personal experience, it is very easy to fall out of that sort of framework. The natural state of the world is magical. There are depths and layers to reality that we have only begun to scratch the surface of. And our own existence is magical in and of itself because we have consciousness, we're alive, we're not just a collection of molecules bouncing off of each other. There's something more that has emerged from the midst of that. So just by looking in and looking out of ourselves, if we pause and reflect on that for even a moment, we begin to see that there's more to life than just the physical world. So the question becomes, what does this mean? And what do we do about this? I think the average person probably has moments where they encounter that sense of infinity, that sense of greater than, that sense of mystery and wonder. But most of us slip in and out of those moments without really reflecting on what it means, without internalizing it, and without really realizing that that is a state of existence that we can exist in, just as a general rule. But there are some things that we can do to kind of help shift our framework and start taking steps in that direction. Of course, there are the basics that everyone always talks about: getting adequate rest, healthy eating. But there are layers where you can go beyond that, where you start to actually engage with the magic of the world. Health food is important, but natural food, there's more actual life in there. So one of the basic things is you eat fresh fruits and vegetables instead of processed things like that. It connects you more with the web of life and the energy of the world. Even more so if the food is grown locally or by you yourself. That's one of the things I've started taking steps towards recently, is growing my own produce on my property. I'm looking forward to some Cherokee purple tomatoes this summer. But food, of course, is just one part of it. Another aspect is just how we interact with the world itself. A lot of us have, and again, speaking from personal example, I have a desk job. I sit in front of a computer all day long, entering data, talking to clients, calling people in ways that are, for me, very formulaic, and it doesn't really allow for that sort of real heart-to-heart, person-to-person connection that human beings thrive on. You can cultivate that to a degree, even in your work relationships, but especially if you find yourself in a corporate job or a traditional business-type framework, there's not much flexibility to be a full-fledged human being in those environments. So I found that it's important for me to find ways to carry my humanity with me into the workplace. And that involves finding little symbols, little things that I can do just to help myself feel anchored in the diversity and vibrancy of my own existence. One thing you may have noticed, I wear bow ties instead of neckties, and that's just something for me that helps me feel joyful and like myself. It's a slight deviation from the business norm that I'm able to do at my work that allows me to feel more authentic and real. I also have two sacred items that I wear with me at all times. I have a mushroom necklace that I made many years ago that's very precious to me, and also a malachite ring, or excuse me, a moldavite ring that I recently acquired that has been really helping me rekindle my energy, and I feel like it has a transformative presence to it. And whether you believe in stuff like that is sort of beside the point for our purposes right now. It's just an example of something you can find that you can incorporate into your daily life that helps you feel like you're carrying a bit of that magic with you, even when you go into places where that's not really encouraged as far as the type of dynamic, vibrant human existence that we can thrive in other circumstances. And there are other things that we can do as well. I found, for example, nature is a wellspring of magic, and I think most people who are on this path who spend any time at all out in nature recognize this as well. Life is magical, just fundamentally, and the more life you are able to surround yourself with, the more you're able to feel that magic. And there are times of day when that's more readily available as well. Twilight in particular, which they call the crack between the worlds, where it is neither day nor night. One of the most profound experiences I had in my life was the first time I really actually meditated out in nature at twilight. And there's this gap. During day, in the woods, there's all sorts of daytime sounds from all the animals, the bugs, the birds, etc. At night, there's another set of sounds from the night animals, the birds, the bugs, etc. But there's that moment when the sun sets and the day creatures become quiet. But we're not quite yet into full night yet, and the nighttime creatures have not yet begun to make noise. So when the sun falls and when you're in that moment of twilight, it's like a hush falls over the entire forest. And when you sit in that moment, it's just this profound feeling of stillness and quiet. And there's so much power and opportunity in those moments. You can use it for meditation. You can use it for all sorts of things. So that's just another example. Of course, daily integration of magical practices is another important thing. Some people prayer, which they wouldn't necessarily want. Some people do not like to talk about religion and prayer in magical terms, but I see a lot of overlap there, and I'm fully comfortable seeing the magic in the spiritual and the spiritual in magic. I have no issue with that. Reading sacred texts, meditation. For me, daily tarot pulls have been a wonderful tool for personal growth. Really, just any time that you're able to set aside to step outside of your conventional mode of thinking, look inwardly, look outwardly, connect with something sacred, whether it's a talisman, a text, or the presence of God, depending on how you define it. So really, what I'm saying here is that living magically is a choice. And although our society is not set up for that kind of lifestyle, if you choose to do so, you can create space for it in your own life, both by modifying your patterns, modifying your diet, modifying... Ideally, you wouldn't have to shift to a different job. It's something I've considered myself, and for a long time I felt like I had to quit my office job and move to something like a crystal shop or whatever to actually feel like I'm able to live an authentic life all the time. But thankfully I've realized that's not the case. If you are properly rooted in yourself, if your practice is robust, if you find little ways to carry your authenticity with you into the workplace, and you learn what parts of yourself to reveal and hold back without feeling inauthentic, that does go a long way towards being able to live magically despite a non-magical job. Other things I found that are very important is, connecting with your inner child. Kids understand magic in ways that adults don't. I think most children recognize that the world is just this incredible place full of opportunities and experiences where we can actually just survive and push ourselves through by confidence and luck more times than we realize. And as we grow, that kind of gets beaten out of us, metaphorically speaking, and in some cases literal, but generally just we're taught by school, by parents, by peers, by government that we have to limit ourselves, that we have to make ourselves small, that we have to dream a little bit less, that we have to express a little bit less, that we have to experience a little bit less. But if you're able to strip away those restrictions, if you're able to take off the blinders that they put on your eyes, you start to see all of the opportunities to find magic. And that's really what I'm talking about here, is the little things that you can do to shift your life a little bit and make yourself more open to engaging with the universe in a way that is authentic and vibrant and enables you to experience so many things that you wouldn't experience if you just live in a purely reactive state of mind and engage with the world in a way that is purely physical. So this is a journey I've been on for the past 13 months, and it has been quite remarkable, especially the past month or two. I'm finally starting to find that synchronicity, those really cool coincidences where you're reading a new book and a friend calls you out of the blue to talk about that book with no prompting whatsoever. I've been having more conversations with similarly minded people where we'll be discussing some spiritual concept or some little bit of esoterica, and then immediately after the conversation I'll encounter a real life example of it. And what I've learned is that when things like that are not happening, when you're not feeling synchronicity on a regular basis, it means something's out of sync. The universe is interconnected, and it's full of amazing coincidences, and some of the best experiences you have in life are the things that occur unexpectedly when you're just out there living. And if that's not happening to you, that means something's wrong. That means you're fallen out of a state of flow. That means that you're not maximizing your potential as a human being, and there are opportunities that you could be availing yourselves of that you're not even seeing because you're not engaging with the world in a way that makes them accessible. So I would just encourage all of you to take some time to look inwardly and ask yourself if you're feeling stagnant or if you're feeling vibrant. If you feel like there is a stagnation there, just start looking at little things you can do to open up your life a little bit more. I mean, honestly, I was tired for years, and I've only recently gotten to where I'm letting myself sleep properly, because you feel so busy. You feel like you have all this time that you have to use, and then you're tired all the time, so you never get anything done, so you stay up late, and it's just this vicious cycle. So for me, the foundational thing was just getting rest again so I could clear my head and figure out what I want. And once you start making those spaces in your life, you find things to fill them with. And we'll talk more about the more specific ways of doing that as we go forward in the future. But really, this is just a basic video. And I appreciate you watching this with me. I'm still getting used to making this content at all. It's not, I do like to talk, but you know, feeling like I have something to offer people, especially people I haven't even met before, you know, that's something I'm still learning about. But I think we all have something to offer, and I'm trying to get myself to a place where I'm confident enough to share, you know, what little bits of light I find in my own life with other people who are looking for the same. And hopefully we can all learn and grow together as human beings as we take this journey. Thank you for watching.